What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, Mystery Money. It seems as though the saga of the Eidl program just keeps on getting weirder and stranger. But with all the changes in the Eidl program and the use of funds that were able to be applied to previous or future debts, we decided to apply for a third increase, or I should say a second increase, on our second Eidl loan. And I'll link that video here where I talk about the process of getting two different loans. So as I covered in this video here, it talks about the fact that you can now use the proceeds of the Eidl loan towards existing or future commercial debt as well as government debt. So we sat down and made the business decision to apply for an increase to our existing Eidl loan. Over the past few weeks, we applied through the reconsideration process and we were approved for our third draw. In this video, I will go over what the process looked like, what the steps you need to do to complete the process, and the timeline in the process on what it took for us to receive those funds. I'm also going to go over some of the implications that these new changes may make as far as it goes into the future. When the changes to the program were announced, and I want to draw attention to these very specific words. Use of funds was expanded to include payment and prepayment of business, non-federal debt incurred at any time, past or future, and payment of federal debt. I'll link to the actual article from SBA website. I went into detail the other changes in this video here, and you can check them out as well. But some of the key changes to note are the increase of $2 million, which is above the original $500,000 cap, and the extension of repayments to 24 months from the date of origination. And lastly, it's the use for payment of debt. When the program was initially launched, you weren't allowed to make principal payments, or I should say count principal payments as an expense out of the Eidl funds. They were strictly for interest expense, things like that. You couldn't refinance existing debt. Like many of you out there and many small businesses, we took on debt for our trucking business that was less than ideal terms. Our latest truck interest rate was 9.6%. Being that I'm in this industry, I know that's extremely high considering I have a very good personal credit score. We could have gotten a little better, but would have had to put more money down, and I would rather have the cash. Given that we had one of our trucks in the shop for the last 4 weeks, I'm glad I did. The other interest rates that we have are better, but still not as good as the SBA is offering. Mainly, it's 3.75% for 30 years. Although our payments are going to drop from around $2,500 to $1,000, I'm still planning on paying the same payment since the program doesn't have a prepayment penalty. Because we had a truck in the shop for a prolonged period of time, it is running, knock on wood. It's under warranty, there wasn't an issue with that, but it's the fact that it is not producing income. I don't want to do anything with this money until we're at least back rolling and know that we're going to be able to consistently run that truck longer than we have. So once that truck is running and everything seems to be on track, we're going to pay off 2 of our commercial loans. Now, with our background out of the way, let's talk about the actual process. This one has to be the easiest time that I've had requesting more money. Prior to this, there were many email exchanges back and forth with disaster customer cares, documents being sent and signed and resent several times, and I know a lot of you out there know exactly what I'm talking about, but this time was so easy. All I did was went into the portal once the news broke that you could receive more money and actually request reconsideration through the existing portal. I went into the portal, slid the little thing to request more money, hit submit. It went to a processing, and I got an email saying it was approved. Went in, DocuSigned the documents. They actually did email them to both myself and my brother, so we both had to DocuSign. It was the new loan agreement stating that the terms had changed, our new payment, all of that, and the new money. Sent the documents back, never got another follow-up email, but the funds were deposited in our account shortly after that. The exact timing of the dates. I originally went onto the portal on October 14th because I forgot my password and had to do the whole reset thing. October 15th, I slid the slider requesting more money. We requested below the $200,000 mark because at that point, there's no personal guarantees. Not that I'm opposed to personal guarantees, I just figure it's one less thing to worry about and less paperwork to have to do. I don't want to oversimplify the process because I know there's a lot of you out there that are still going through the first or second draws and have not gotten any information, and I really hope that this process is speeding up somewhat. I do believe that the reason this time it went a lot faster is because the SBA has come under an enormous amount of pressure to process these applications quickly. More especially the loans under $500,000. So after I logged into the portal on the 15th and slid the slider requesting more money, I clicked the modification button and I didn't hear anything, no email exchange. I did get your modification request has been sent for processing or whatever. But other than that, I didn't get any notification. On the afternoon of September 30th, I received an email stating that my loan was approved and I would need to sign the updated loan agreement. Like I said before, my brother received that too. We both signed it, got them back the same day. Our funds were finally deposited on October 5th. So from the time we changed the modified agreement amount, roughly 15 days for the funds to hit our account. Again, if you're in the beginning of the process, it may be taking longer, but this is our third modification, or I should say the second modification, and it definitely went much more smoothly. They had all of our documents from the previous ones, and I think that contributed to going faster. Now, what I see for the future of the program. I don't have a crystal ball, but from the finance side of this, I believe this is going to make a lot of banks very unhappy in the fact that more people are going to be willing to take money from the SBA as opposed to, say, a private lending institution. Even if you have to pay a prepayment penalty, like we do, we have to pay 1% on our one loan. So that's going to be roughly $800. The savings we're going to make going from 9.6% to 3.75% is going to be huge. Right now, we currently pay about $800 a month just in interest. That will literally be cut in half and go towards principal. But I don't want to give you advice on what to do. I would talk to your accountant about any implications that you may have. Make sure you check your note when you got your original loan to make sure if there is prepayment language, if there's stipulations on you can prepay so much, or if it's just a flat fee. Check all those things out, talk to your accountant, talk to your banker, and then make a decision. Banks are not in the business of competing with the federal government when it comes to loans. And this is the first time in history that this program was expanded to cover issues like the pandemic. Going forward, it may be utilized in other cases, which would put pressure on the banking system to lower rates to remain competitive. But I don't see anywhere where a bank is going to make a 30-year fixed loan for commercial or business purposes. One piece of advice for entertainment purposes only is that if you are considering this method, make sure you're at least paying the portion of the loans tied to equipment off during their standard life. You don't want to take 30 years to pay off a truck that's rusting away in a junkyard. If your truck has a useful life of 5 years, then pay that loan off in 5 years. There's no prepayment penalty. The interest is going to be great. But hopefully these funds will alleviate some of the financial burden until you can get back up and running fully. I wish you the best in your business. If you have any specific questions as far as the process or something you may have been questioned about, post it in the comments. Thank you so much for taking time to watch another video. And until next time, have a great day.